Welcome, everyone. We're joined today by Bryant coach Buck James, who's got a big game coming up this Saturday at War Memorial Stadium with his matchup that's a tradition here in Central Arkansas against those Benton Panthers. Welcome to the show, Coach.
And Mike, I appreciate you being on the show. This is a real treat for me. I don't get to do this kind of interview very often.
Well, we enjoy having you. And again, thank you for making the time, especially this close to game day. I know you guys are busy. But let's talk about your team's recent success. You know, the last 4 years have resulted in state championships, and you can't do that repetitively like that, consistently like that, when you are, moving athletes through the program every 3 years or so. There's more to it than that. Let's talk about your coaching staff and how important they are to that winning tradition.
Well, they are. They're a great group of men. They've been with me since I got here. A couple of them even I coached with or went to high school with, and they're guys that are loyal to what we do, and our kids are great relationship guys. And, it starts with our offense and defensive coordinator, Quad Sanders and Kirk Bach. Unbelievable job those two guys do running our offense and our defense. Coach Bach won the Broyles Award 2 years ago for the state's top assistant coach. He also, finishes high in the national rankings and all that as well. Coach Quad Sanders, our defensive coordinator, won the Broyles Award this year. So it's really a great honor for our program, but also these men. And I joked with the Broyles Award committee. I said, you need to have an award for the guy that hires two guys like that. But it's a great award. They're well deserving. There's a lot of great coaches out there, but our kids we have good players, and that makes you a better coach. And our kids buy into what we're doing. But probably more importantly, Mike, our parents let us coach their kids, and that's
awesome.
That's huge. And they don't come in here and tell us we're too hard on them. A lot of times they just want us to coach them harder and where they can be good on Friday night. But those guys are supported by, on the offense side of the ball, Adam Pendergrass, who coaches our tight ends and running backs, Julian Jones, who coaches our wide receivers, and Shane Clancy, who coaches our offensive line. And then on the defense side, who supports Coach Sanders, is B.J. Schuler, who is our defensive line coach, and Travis Quick, who is our baseball coach and our linebackers coach. So these guys do a great job. They work hard. They work tirelessly, hours way beyond their contract asked to do, and they're winners on and off the field.
Well, you mentioned some of the other activities that your coaches are involved in from an athletic standpoint there. How many of those coaches are involved in sports where they find athletes and convince them to come onto the football field?
Well, that happens a lot. Our coaches work lunch duty and parking lot duty and stuff like that, and campus duty, and they're always recruiting our campus. And, we have a lot of kids here who could play football that never have played it. And we get countless amount of kids that come through our program that were just guys that transferred in here, or whether we found them on campus and they hadn't been playing. And that helps build our program. I mean, we have 141 kids on our football team right now. So kids have to learn to be patient. They have to learn to know their role, know their time, and then go for it when it's their opportunity. And it's a lot better to reload or rebuild than it is to reload.
Well, Coach, you had a good defense last year. If you look at the scores, the defense gave up some points in quite a few games, but that's understandable considering the potency of your offense that, late in the game, you enjoyed a huge lead, which gave you the luxury of getting some of those underclassmen in on the defensive and offensive side of the ball, and that can attribute for some of those defensive scores. But now, you've got at least 10 defensive starters coming back. That's going to be a stout Hornet defense.
Well, it should be. I think the biggest thing is motivating them to play every play. A lot of those guys are 2 and 3 year starters, and they've done a great job. And, I think the biggest thing is consistency with them. They have to play fast. We're not over bluntly a big defense, but we are a long, tall defense. And we have speed, and those guys are going to have to play hard every play. Like you said, We have a lot of starters, a lot of returners. We have a lot of guys who played. Matter of fact, we had 4 guys who played in the state championship game last year that never played a significant down in the entire season. That's
Wow.
something that our guys got to understand is that this next man up mentality,
Mhm.
it works. And I think we've got to play great defense to give our young offense a chance to get rolling. And, defense wins championships. Coaches say it all the
Sure.
time. You got to be able to run the football and you got to be able to play great defense. And, those are the 2 things that we really focus on each year. And, it's amazing to me how it sort of flip flops. 2 years ago or last year, we were sitting there with not one returning starter on defense, and we had a bunch of guys on offense. But it sort of seesaws back and forth, and that's the way it's been the last 3 or 4 years. But like you said, there's guys that have played a lot of games for us that didn't necessarily start, but have a lot of playing time in significant parts of the game in the last couple of years. So that's something that we can build off of. That's something that our kids understand. We know the process. And we just got to go out there and do it, one play at a time for 10 weeks.
Now, you mentioned youth on the offensive side, especially the linemen. Understand you've got some new guys on that offensive line. What are you expecting out of that interior?
Well, we got 4 of the 5 guys that started in the state championship game are gone. We have a couple of guys that got some playing time in role play for us last year, and Matt Elder, our center, Tate Settle, a guard, and Lawson Hutchins, a tackle, played quite a bit. I mean, they're not guys that have never been experienced to high school football. So we've got 3 of those guys back that played a lot for us last year. But, we got 2 new guys. Com Taylor is a senior. He's waited his turn. His opportunity to be able to shine. And we have some young guys that are going to come in there, sophomores that should be able to play and be able to do some things. And we have some juniors and seniors who are really, coming around and maturing and developing in our program that are going to be able to help. But I think we can go 8 or 9 deep on our offensive line and not have a big drop off, and that will help as well. But we do have experienced running backs, and we've had the best running back crew that I probably ever coach, and we could go 5 deep at running back, and not many schools can say that. And I honestly, this is true. We will not have much drop off, if any drop off, from number 1 to 2 to 5. Those guys can play. They're what we call in the coaches' business dogs. They'll go play.
Mm-hmm.
They'll compete. They're going to go out there and do their jobs, and that makes offensive linemen look better.
And that's tough for any opposing defense when you have that type of fresh legs continually coming in the ball game. And, but they have to be wary. They can't focus just on those running backs. From what I understand, you got a couple quarterbacks that got some feet as well in Moats and Penny. Are they going to see some QB time this year for you?
Well, it's actually Moats and Walker is our 2 quarterbacks. And Jordan Walker will start on Saturday. He's a sophomore. Moats is a little banged up from the scrimmage, and so it'll be a game time decision as far as he goes. But we have some quarterback depth problems, but I think we'll be fine. I think those guys are going to do their job. They're going to go out there and compete. They're both talented. They're both big, strong kids. They both have strong arms. They both have good football IQ, and I really believe that those guys will do well. And I think the surrounding cast is important for the quarterback. I think 2 people that go into a ball game that never have a chance to win over the crowd or whatever is the quarterback and the head coach. So, those guys are going to be fine. We just got to have people around them to play well as well.
Now, downfield threat. I know last year there was some heroics out of Singleton late in the season. Your receiving core, are they going to be able to push the ball downfield and really spread things out for you this year?
I think so. I mean, I think we're better at receiver this year than we were last year. And, that's to be, determined. But I think those guys have a better time. Mytorian is probably one of the best receivers in the state. He could be, one of the top 2 or 3 receivers I've ever coached, and that's saying a mouthful. But he was over 1,000-yard receiver last year. He's had a great fall camp, and he's a guy that, expects the ball, and if you just got to get it in the area code, and he'll catch it. And Donald Miller has done a great job of maturing and developing, and we have Sean Rockraw, who's really shown a lot of promise. We have some guys that really are some good-looking kids. They run hard, they play hard, they compete, they're coachable, they understand the game, their football IQ is good. And I believe that, when it's all said and done, I think we'll go back and say, hey, we had a pretty good receiving core.
Bryant has a history of starting and ending the season at War Memorial. You've got some guys that are young. How do you temper their expectations or their anxieties going into that stadium, especially, first game of the year where they're likely to see 25,000 people in attendance?
Yeah, I think the record is like 36 or 38,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so, and it was last time it was on a Saturday it was that number. And the way this thing's been hyped this year and the media attention, I've probably done at least 5 or 6 interviews a day since Monday, and I anticipate it to be a big crowd. I think this is Benton's got a good football team. They've got some really good football players. I think that's going to attract some. We got some guys that have got some media attention and college attention that are drawing player attention to people. The COVID is basically over as far as distancing and stuff, and that sort of slowed us down. But even in the COVID years, we had 25,000 people. So
yeah,
I anticipating it, being closer to 40,000 that will be 30,000 this year. And I don't know if any kid can be ready for that, to be honest with you. I mean, there's college guys that never play in front of that many people. So, butterflies, being a little nervous, his expectations, that's what gets us ready from January to right now, is that we know we have this game. We know we're playing a tough schedule. We know that we've had success in the past, and that readies kids as well. And we try to put as much pressure on them as we can in the practice field. And hopefully our guys just go out there, play fast, don't think, and do their jobs.
Well, Coach, as we wrap up the interview with you today, what is it going to take for Bryant to be victorious and keep their dominance over the Panthers?
Well, we're going to have to stop the run game, that's for sure. And they got a great big tailback, and if he likes getting hit, we're going to have a problem. But we're going to have to hit him. We're going to have to tackle him. We're going to have to swarm to the ball. Our offense can't beat our defense. We can't put the ball on the ground and make dumb turnovers and stuff like that. But we've got to be able to run the football, and if we can run the football, then we're going to be able to throw it. And we've got to put pressure on them. We've got to, be solid in our kick game. We got to play fast. We got to play disciplined. And if we'll do those things, I think our football team has a chance in every game we play in.
Well, Coach James, thank you again for taking time out and visiting with me today. And we wish you lots of luck and keep them healthy out there.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you having me on the show.